With the Fantastic Four box office disaster still a very much worrisome thing for both the Disney company and Marvel Studios, we already have those out there like Disney CEO Bob Iger, Pedro Pascal, and even Kevin Feige making things way worse than they need to be for the Fantastic Four by bringing up political talking points and really supporting DEI outright. Now, if you thought that was bad, it only gets worse when it comes to Bob Iger now, already off to a bad start promoting Avengers Doomsday ahead of its release of December of 2026. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. Now, one thing about Bob Iger is that we know that he's becoming quite more vocal as of late when it comes to DEI, LGBTQ rights, and all of this other nonsense coming from the typical Disney agenda that is not stopping by any means. We know that Kevin Feige confirmed this about 2 to 3 weeks back, that DEI is not stopping, DEI is not coming to a close. It is going to keep actually coming forward for the future of the MCU, especially starting off with the next phase again. Now, what's interesting about all this that we know that Avengers Doomsday, very important film, very expensive movie, I must add, and the reason why it's so expensive is that just look at how much Robert Downey Jr. is getting paid for this film, alright? That's basically I rest my case type of thing, right? We know that there's a lot of things going on with this movie, you know, when it comes to the budget, when it comes to how expensive it's going to be, and when you're looking at Fantastic Four, definitely not a great start for the new phase of the MCU ahead of Spider-Man Brand New Day and Avengers Doomsday. However, when it involves Bob Iger, with Disney CEO Bob Iger already engaging in damage control over the Fantastic Four box office disaster, especially after Pedro Pascal made things worse with his political comments, one significant development now involves Bob Iger confirming the worst news yet for the upcoming plans of Avengers Doomsday and the MCU for the holiday season of 2026 and beyond. Bob Iger recently delivered the following. As CEO, it is in my best interest to remain transparent and direct with not just our customers, but also our shareholders. In regards to one of our most valuable business models, Marvel Studios, one thing I would like to confirm about our most important Marvel project yet, Avengers Doomsday, is that our priority here is to not only restore what Marvel fans loved from the first phase, but to also value the importance of diversity, equity, and inclusion. And with a film as large as this, we are aiming to also represent the LGBTQ community with our best efforts for a film like this that holds so much potential for so many communities around the globe. Looking back at some past characters and models that have missed the mark, we hope to also restore those characters as well. We are taking things into consideration of bringing different stories to life with Avengers Doomsday, such as She-Hulk and Captain America, and of course Captain Marvel, and how we can incorporate those characters perhaps, since those are characters that have so much to offer as much as Ironheart as well. However, I am more than honored to say that one of our finest actors, Pedro Pascal, he will be the main face of the story as Mr. Fantastic, and a crucial role for this film as Mr. Fantastic and how the events of this film plays out. As CEO, we repel the inflammatory opinions coming from those politically driven landscapes out there that openly criticize our Marvel business model for taking pride in DEI and LGBTQ rights, and how this will be at the forefront of Avengers Doomsday. Kevin Feige is just as passionate as this as I am to really reach a wider global audience for the most important Marvel film in history as far as we see it here at both the Disney company and Marvel. Now guys, let me say one thing about Bob Iger here. Now, yes, this is a very important film for the MCU. If Avengers Doomsday does not succeed by a very wide margin at that pretty much could very well spell the end of the Marvel Cinematic Universe and could very well spell doom for the MCU. Now look, we know one thing about Bob Iger right now is that they keep going on this constant trope about DEI this, DEI that, LGBTQ rights here and there. People are very sick and tired of hearing about this constant narrative about the Disney agenda has no agenda. We know that Bob Iger always says this, you know, oh, there's no agenda here, but then he goes on to talk about DEI and LGBTQ, etc., and he's doing it now with Avengers Doomsday, he's doing it now with the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and this phase in particular, and it really does raise an eyebrow, and it makes you question, Have they learned nothing? Alright? Has Disney learned absolutely nothing at all based on the pushback from Marvel fans after the box office metrics for Captain America, Brave New World, the Marvels, featuring Captain Marvel in there, as well as Ironheart, which was indeed a ratings disaster. And when you're looking at other things, for example, when you're looking at this movie, Fantastic Four, The First Steps, that was also another box office failure. And when you're looking at Thunderbolts, another box office mishap. Now, the two movies that I just mentioned there, they may have been somewhat entertaining for a lot of people out there as okay popcorn flicks, but nothing by any means a major success for the Marvel Cinematic Universe financially speaking. So moving on here, he goes on to actually conclude, with a film this large with historic running time that we are in pursuit of, this will be our most diverse Marvel film yet that honors DEI. For those that want to label the future of the Marvel Universe as something driven by an agenda, do you realize that it's inflammatory opinions like that that are causing those to hold doubts about the future of our many valuable business models? In this case with Marvel, we at the Disney Company do not respect such inflammatory takes about the Disney Company and its support of DEI. It's one thing the Disney Company does not agree with when it involves this administration, led by President Donald Trump and his efforts to rid of something that creates a fair and balanced workplace for the industry, especially here at the Marvel Studios and Disney Company, and how our next phase will be the most diverse phase yet that also respects LGBTQ rights. We, of course, thank everyone for supporting this brand. And again, there you have it. Bob Iger openly admitting that they are going to double down on DEI, not just with Avengers Doomsday, but with the future of the MCU. Now look, we know that Avengers is going to have a ton of characters in this thing, alright? Beyond what you would even imagine, and that really could also translate to what he's talking about there, but what he really means is the typical Disney messaging, the typical Disney the idea of the agenda, essentially, that they always absolutely say that they're not doing any kind of an agenda with the future of Marvel, Star Wars, Disney live action, Pixar, whatever it may be. They all shoot those claims down, and then once the actual movies come out, then we actually see exactly what's going on. Now sure, they've dialed down on the agenda and messaging for some movies here and there. Do you realize though, and we pointed this out several times, that is indeed a part of Bob Iger and the Disney Board of Directors' overall strategy to actually create some hits to fund the actual agenda-driven projects, if that makes sense. That is indeed an actual working strategy going on right now over at Disney. So overall, look, I think that when you look at the numbers of the Fantastic Four, and how that really was indeed a box office mishap, it really is a red flag about the future of the MCU, and how many people are just walking away. They're walking away because of Pedro, and the fact that he confirmed that Pedro is going to be the face of Avengers Doomsday, I don't think it's a good move at all by any means. But overall, I would like to hear what everyone has to say about this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.